Allora, abbiamo pensato a questa sessione, diciamo, una specie di tavola rotonda nella tavola rotonda. Quindi in qualche modo inviteremo i nostri colleghi, i nostri partner che qui rappresentano alcune organizzazioni e altrettanti paesi partecipanti al progetto ad esprimersi su alcune questioni che ovviamente riguardano la situazione, soprattutto la situazione demografica nei loro paesi, le eventuali interventi, buone pratiche che vengono, oltre al progetto cui hanno partecipato, che vengono in qualche modo realizzati, e quali sono le acquisizioni che a loro giudizio a livello nazionale e di organizzazione hanno ricevuto dalla partecipazione al progetto. Io comincerei con la prima, sottoponendo la prima domanda, partendo dalla Repubblica Slovacca. I will start with the Slovak Republic. C'è quindi nel suo paese una politica nazionale o regionale diretta alle questioni dell'invecchiamento della popolazione? Is there in your country a national policy concerning active aging?
Thank you, Pietro. Thank you, everybody, for letting us to present the situation. Hopefully, it will be interesting for you as well. It's our pleasure to be here in your lovely country and lovely city. In regards to Slovakia, I would like to say, in regards to demography, we are a quite small country. Imagine that it's only nearly 5.5 million of all inhabitants of Slovakia. So it's quite a small number. In this number, the index of aging, it's 81. What I mean by 81, it's that for 100 children, meaning people aged 0 to 14, there is 81 people aged 65 plus. In regards to the comparison between women and men, it might be interesting also. The numbers are quite even till the age of 49. After the year 49, there is a steep increase in women being presented in the older age. So I think that's the similar situation across the Europe as it is. In regards to numbers or comparison, as we can see, the aging starts to be important. Let's say in 2001 in Slovakia, there were 19% of population represented by children, meaning people 0 to 14. But in 2011, this percentage decreased only to 15%. Also, for the percentage for active or productive population, which is 15 to 65, there is a quite steady number, which was in 2001 68%, now it's 72%. As regards to aging or to population which is in non-productive age, the percentage doesn't show very much difference since 2001. It was 11.4%. In 2011, it's just 12.7%. What I did discover about Italy, which was interesting for me, because we should think not only about the aging, but healthy aging as well. Italy tops the list not only of medium age, I mean the longest medium length of life, but also has the longest period of life which is without the sickness. Only 7.9 years represents the years of sickness, as I can say. Opposing to Hungary, which is on the other spectrum, with the shortest length of medium life, also the longest period of life in sickness, which is about 10 years. As regards to the policies in Slovakia, they are spread in several acts and laws and decrees. The most important, in September, the Ministry of Labor developed and now it's under the consultation process amongst all the ministries and the central governmental bodies. There is a strategy on active aging being discussed, which should cover the period of 2014 to 2020. I think that's all. Thank you.
Grazie, thank you. Adesso diciamo in qualche modo giro la stessa domanda alla collega austriaca Prebanda. Please, Mirna, what's the situation in Austria?
Yeah, thank you for your invitation. Grazie per l'invitazione. Well, what does it look like in Austria? Actually, in comparison to Italy, pretty small country with 8 million. Well, we can say we are growing. We are going to grow thanks to the increasing life expectancy, migration flows, improved medical care and technology. By 2030, we are going to grow for 8.1%, and by 2050 around 14.5%. And this means then year 2050, it takes few years to come there. Anyway, 9.5 million persons are going to live in Austria. And well, there's actually the pity that in Austria we are having a low fertility rate. And due to this fact, the age structure is shifting towards an aging population. And this means that in year 2050, almost every third person is going to be at least 60 years. When we have a closer look at the employment rate of all the workers, then we can say that the total workforce in Austria is amounted to 74.4%, whereas only 42% among those aged 55 to 64. This is the percentage, and that's why we are also below the average in EU. And our aim is definitely to increase the employment rate of the elderly. In Austria, we don't have a national aging strategy, but we have territorial employment pacts, and these are contracted partnerships with regional stakeholders. The regional pact in Upper Austria is currently having offers for 68,000 persons with around 149 million euros budget for measures, and the aim is to link the employment policy with other policies in order to secure jobs in Upper Austria and to improve the regional development. And in this context, the budget of 149 million is for training, is for measures, and it's also for the reintegration of elderly into the labor market. Thank you.
Grazie. Ora Rychlik ci illustrerà invece la situazione relativa alla Repubblica Ceca. Please, Jan, what's about your country?
Thank you. It will be only short answer. We live in time of permanent changes. Every government in our Czech Republic issue a statement about situation in aging, about situation of population and so on. They write a program, and after it there is no time for implementation, because comes new government, make new statement, make new program, and it's going around and around. I must say that I know something about it. 3 years ago, I was on other side. I work in employment services, and I think that we make all very good. But after this situation, after these 3 years, I changed my opinion, and I must say that situation is not good in Czech Republic.
Grazie. Adesso tornerei, diciamo, alla seconda questione. Esempi di buone pratiche, diciamo, in qualche modo già Mirna ci ha anticipato che a livello austriaco i patti territoriali, che sono in realtà una forma istituzionale largamente sperimentata anche in Italia, rappresentano per loro un punto di riferimento, se non altro come cornice normativa, come cornice negoziale per la realizzazione di buone pratiche. Tornerei quindi alla collega che ha parlato prima della Repubblica Slovacca per avere, diciamo, da lei alcuni esempi di buone prassi. Please, some example of best practices in your country.
Thank you. I would like to say that examples of best practices were the most one of the most welcome parts of our project. In Slovakia, there are various examples ranging in, I would say, exclusivity. I mean, like there is just one of them, or they have bigger scale. I would like just to name some, and then I would like to say which examples of best practice on the project level, on my personal view, were those important ones for me. In Slovakia, we have councils of seniors which are working as an advisory organ for mayors of the cities in order to work or to bring closer interests and problems of aging population towards the mayors and those policy makers as well. Also important, I would say, there is a business leaders forum which represents 23 private companies, mainly big companies like from energy, from telecommunications, banks. And those companies are gathered together, and they very actively think about aging population, about responsible entrepreneurship. And they also collect examples of best practices, and they share amongst themselves those examples. Also, I did bring the brochure, which is in Slovak, which is about the Academy of European Senior. This academy is a little bit of different from the third age universities, because their aim is not just being regarded as some education based on interest, but they did push the occupation into the list of occupations which are considered as one of regular occupation, and this is called a coordinator of active aging center. So the absolvent of this academy can work in this occupation. It's just in the start, so we don't have the practical example yet, but I think that's quite good development. On my personal level, I did like the example in Slovakia, which was developed by one lady observing people in the nursing home. And the view from the windows of the nursing home was just to the coroners and truck with coffins. So she thought, okay, that's their perspective or not. Then she did have an idea and did combine two parts of the building. And in one part of the building there are seniors, and the other part of the building there are young moms with kids. So suddenly that courtyard and that garden was filled with the laughter and playing of kids. So the seniors did get different perspective on life. And that nursing home, or I would say now combined home, it's called Arms of Salvation. Also, we have very interesting senior dancing groups with members of 75 maybe plus, but not only they are composing not only by seniors, but they are dancing with young girls and boys. So it's a nice example of intergenerational solidarity. To my surprise, I did discover that we have also in the northern Slovakia group of senior cheerleaders. And also we have in Slovakia, maybe for those ones who would like to promote this kind of sport, we have like a senior Usain Bolt. So the sprinter who is in senior age, but comparison of his results are comparable to Usain Bolt. And he attends regularly and wins in like senior games, also on international level. And as I did say, on the project level, I did like the examples, let's say from Hungary, the mohair company of a female entrepreneur going through the economic crisis and still keeping her face and face of her company. I did like also presentations from the regional institutions from Poland, from Czech Republic, from Austria, and from my other colleagues, because those are very interesting and very inspirative for us creating our regional training concept. And I did like also the example of Subtour, the transport company, and I think it was made on very practical level and practical way. It was from Austria. Thank you very much.
Grazie, non so se Mirna vuole aggiungere qualcosa su buone pratiche in Austria. Do you want to...
Come sono riusciti a motivare il forum degli imprenditori, cioè a nascere?
She's asking how you motivated or facilitated the born of the forum for for employers?
Of the businesses, it's facilitated by the NGO. It's called Pontis. So that NGO facilitates the work of the Business Leaders Forum. Thank you.
Se non ci sono altre, naturalmente sono benvenute altre domande, nel senso che questa, come dicevo, è una sessione, ahimè breve, ma volutamente interattiva. Comunque la collega Mirna e la collega Melitta, che appartiene a un'organizzazione di management, anch'essa partner del progetto a livello austriaco, ci parleranno di alcune buone pratiche.
Okay. One of the best practice examples in Austria is Fit to Work. Fit to Work, and actually we're having a lot of good examples, but anyway, Fit to Work is a huge project which is in entire Austria implemented, and we are having also a lot of projects with focus on occupational health promotion. And what is it about? It is about consulting service for secondary prevention of occupational health disease. And the key objects are to preserve the worker ability and employability, to keep them in the working life, and also to reintegrate them in the working life if they are unemployed. And they want to achieve this with the reduction of invalidity, prevention of unemployment for health reasons at an early stage. It is about reintegration of labor force into the labor market after longer periods of the sick leave. And of course, it is also about preventing long-term unemployment, which is also a problem for the elderly, because if we are having a glance at the duration of unemployed elderly, then the fact is that persons aged between 55 and 59, they are for around 152 days unemployed. This was the figure for 2012. It is also about transfer into the labor market and a smooth transfer from the labor market into the retirement. And these are all the main fields of the activities, and I think that my colleague can tell you even more of these projects.
Thank you also from my side for the invitation and to have the possibility to tell you something about our pilots doing in Austria. As Mirna Prebanda told you, Fit to Work is one great project in Austria, in the whole national Austria. And on a practical base, it is possible that unemployed people or employed people go to a service center and can take their can be consulted there when they have problems with their workability, or with they have much stress or things like that, or have a long-term sickness. And on the other, this is one part of this project, and the second part is that also companies can take part of the project. They can, we can go into the companies and make a strategy to implement the strategy for to implement integration management,
Yeah.
to implement integration management, and it's one of the projects in Austria where all insurances work together, and I think it's a very good doing. All insurances you need for your life be involved, and yes. And I want to say another example. Can I say? There's also another small example. I'm working in Styria. It's a region in Austria, and there we have the possibility to make in 13 communities, small communities, generation workshops with elderly people which are retired or they are going soon in retired, and with new employees coming in a company. And we make workshops with both of them because the needs of the young new employees is really of soft skills, and how can they be motivated, how can they go with stress, how can they come better in the new company. And the elderly people have, for example, 30 or 40 years of experiences in this field of branches. And we had the first workshop last week, and it was a very, very, very lucky. And we have another 5 workshops in the next weeks till the end of the year. And I think it makes really sense because the elderly were very, they are very happy to can give their experience to the younger one, and the younger are, said to us, gave feedback, it is really good that we can speak about our experiences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ecco, posso fare una domanda?
Prego.
Ecco, io volevo chiedere a Katarina a proposito dei consigli degli anziani, che mi sembra un'ottima prassi, per niente praticata in Italia, e quali sono i poteri di questi consigli di anziani e chi li sceglie? Chi sceglie questi anziani che poi vanno a dare aiuto, idee e suggerimenti ai sindaci, mi sembra di aver capito.
This is a question for Katarina. The question was the powers, the mandate of Council of Elderly, and the way in which they are selected, they are formed.
Thank you for that question. Those councils, they have advisory power, and they are selected to represent the senior clubs and senior organizations. And they are proposing various activities and policies. I just mentioned the current one. During this summer, we were talking about the third age universities. Their current activity this summer was the summer school for seniors to overcome the gap in between, let's say, normal school year for those third age universities. So that's one of their activities. And I would like to say that we closely did cooperate with the Council of Seniors in Bratislava, in the town of Bratislava. And we did try to be, as our organization, involved in that Council of Seniors as one of the NGOs who might take part. But unfortunately, as our official registered seat is not in Bratislava, that was the problem. But otherwise, we maintain the working cooperation with them, and we are very happy with it. Thank you.
Grazie. Eva Homolova fa parte di un'altra organizzazione partner sul versante della Repubblica Ceca e ci parlerà anche lei di buone prassi a livello nazionale. Please, Eva.
So good afternoon to all of you, also from my side. I would like to follow basically in the ideas of Melitta about the importance of soft skills for those aged 50 plus, and also the importance of cooperation between generations. And I would like to share with you the experience of our company, which was proved many times in many of our activities, not only in this project. I would like to go back to the conclusions of the survey we did about among 200 of respondents in SMEs, in small and medium companies. And then they mentioned they perceive as the most important advantages of the older employees to be loyalty, experience, low fluctuancy, which is quite important in these days, and the responsibility. But on the other hand, they also mentioned that the low adaptability and flexibility is always the problem. They are not really motivated, or they are not willing to learn new things. And they mentioned also the low computer and language skills. We believe that adaptability and flexibility are the key words. And from our point of view, the transversal or social skills, soft skills, whatever it's called, are the most important ones to make the people adaptable on labor market. Therefore, we developed the training program on soft skills. We have 14 toolkits to train the soft skills like proactive approach, cooperation, flexibility, customer orientation, and many others. And we transferred the training materials across many countries so far during or using the European projects. For your information, the training materials are already being transformed to Napoli region, to Italy. And these days, our managing partner, Senec-Pezinok, is getting the award in Dublin for the best practice project, and he asked me to give my regards to all of you because he really regrets that he couldn't come. So just to fulfill his dreams. We used these training materials or all of our experience to create the training program for this project, for our pilot, and we mixed different competencies and developed a special program. We piloted in 15 team buildings. We created a mixed group of young and older workers and enable them to really experience that the age is not so important, but mostly the attitudes, the skills, the characteristic of the personality is what matters, not only during the completing different tasks in team building, but also in life. So this is our best practice, and what can be inspired in Czech Republic. Thank you.
Grazie, ora l'ultima questione rivolta a tutti ovviamente, cioè quali sono state le principali acquisizioni, cosa è stato reso possibile alla fine dal vostro punto di vista, per le vostre organizzazioni, per le vostre regioni, dalla partecipazione al progetto. What has been enabled through the participation in the project and pilot activity in your region, in your country? Please, let's answer everybody. Let's start with Mirna.
Upper Austria, a region, one of the 9 regions in Austria with 1.5 inhabitants. We had a pilot, and our task was to develop a regional aging strategy for Upper Austria, and we have also completed this task by a guideline for maintaining workability of employees. It is a guideline for small and middle-sized enterprises, which is based on the concept of Juhani Ilmarinen, who is a Finnish researcher. And the House of Workability, it is about health in the 4th floor. It is about qualification, values and working conditions, and this means that with our guideline we tried to attract all these fields, trying to give some recommendations for SMEs, institutions and organizations. How can they implement the workability in their own organizations by having a closer look at age structure, resourcing, screening their resources and giving some good examples. And that's why we also have developed a catalog of measures with over 50 offers in the region. But anyway, this is only one part. We are here on this regional level. And in Upper Austria also a labor market strategy has been developed, and we are also a part of this one, and that's why it is also important for the sustainability of our results. And to sum it up, of all our activities, our recommendations are to boost age-based working conditions, which foster age-appropriate working places. It is about also healthy aging, which was said manifold. It is about permanent investment in further education and qualification, a better adaptation of the training measures for older unemployed, enabling a fast transfer into the labor market, and also a continuous transfer from the working life into the retirement is of great importance. These are the most reported also recommendations by our side, and also this pilot enabled us to work with over 60 partners out of the region, and they represent the regional stakeholders as well as over 40 companies, and this was also real value for our activities. And yeah, now we're hoping that we can proceed in the future, and yeah, thank you.
Grazie. Please, Jan.
Thank you. What about the Liberec region? Liberec region is a very small region in North Czech Republic with giant mountains and with ghost of these giant mountains, Krakonoš. All of our actions were very nice from our view. Very good for us was meeting with entrepreneurs, with normal employees, with owners of small businesses and so on, because we made research with more than 100 these SMEs, and all of this we used in our work. Second was that we prepared 10 courses in small villages and small entrepreneurs, for small entrepreneurs. There are more than 100 people learned new IT skills and such normal things like is sitting before computer. At the end, a very nice sentence from one woman. She said, "Now I am able to write with my grandson because I know emailing."
Okay, thank you, grazie. Eva?
So actually, we have discussed the issue with my colleague Simona yesterday in small restaurant close to the Piazza del Popolo. So I can tell you that from our point of view was the most important thing that we had a very direct link to the companies, to their real needs. Because as also the survey showed us that we have quite very low awareness about issues like cross-generational management strategies in small medium companies. So what we tried to bring them to these issues by solving their various problems the companies might have. And through these problems or challenges, hopefully we also we also raised the awareness about generational issues. So yeah, direct link to the companies and also our awareness of their needs was the most important part of the pilot or our experience. Thank you.
Grazie, please.
Yes, I have done the pilot in Styria in 17 companies. We made age structure analysis, and this was the base of the following consulting. We made tailor-made consulting for each company, and this was, for example, in one company we made mentoring, in another company we made workability coaching, or we made workshops for knowledge transfer between elderly and younger and team working, and also we were also working for optimizing the workplaces for the employees. And the conclusion is that in Styria, much more companies now have need more consulting because they have not enough younger qualified employees anymore. Because, for example, we consulted 3 branches: the metal branch, the healthcare branch, and the tourism. And it was in tourism, it was not so a great problem in Styria, but a great problem was in the metal branches because, for example, also the rural area is an important fact. The rural area, there the younger people don't want to stay there, and they are leaving this area, but there is an attractive company, for example. But it's not enough to have an attractive company in a rural area without the other structures that young people can also want to live there. There must be for the children good schools and institution to want to live there. And my opinion is that this is a really good topic to work more in this part of generational knowledge, and all companies were really confidence that we have done something. It was only one small step and it needed more. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Katarina, you have the last word.
It's always up to the woman to have the last word, isn't it? Well, our pilot was to build up the regional training concept, which was based on questionnaires distributed mainly to the labor offices, and also on the personal consultations with the representatives of target group, of municipalities, of chambers, like the Chamber of Crafts, and as well, as I said, business leaders represented by the facilitator Pontis. And afterwards, we also did map the services provided for seniors within the region, legislation, strategic documents, and we did discuss our pilot also during the roundtables. There were 3 roundtables, and for me, I would like to follow up to what Eva did say. The main thing is raising awareness with our colleagues from Slovakia, from Central Office of Labor and Social Affairs and Family. We did approach various stakeholders, target groups. We even did try to acknowledge the members of parliament with the result of our project. We did get feedback in the way of going through and through the questionnaire which was published, like the online consultation process. The only obstacle was that the strategy was not available in Slovak. So now we would like to widespread the project results, and the strategy does contain also the examples of best practice. So we did agree with my colleagues in Slovakia that they already did put the strategy for translation, and we would like to publish it in Slovak in order to be widely available for all who might be interested in it. And yes, for me on personal level, what was important also in our pilot was to discover the energy and potential of seniors. Because with my colleagues in the office, we always complain like, oh, I can't do this, I can do that, I don't have enough energy. If you will see the energy of those people participating at roundtables and their interests, like I have to attend this competition in saying the poems and so on, and I have to go there, and sorry, I don't have enough time to be here for the full course of the roundtable. It was very contagious for me. So, yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Grazie. Grazie molte a tutti per la partecipazione. A questo punto possiamo fare la pausa per il pranzo. Vi pregherei di cercare di riprendere i lavori alle 2:30, anche se credo sarà difficile perché abbiamo alcuni relatori che poi devono ripartire da Roma e quindi altrimenti potremmo avere dei problemi. Ovviamente tutte le informazioni sul progetto sono disponibili sul sito web. Il progetto stesso pubblicherà entro la fine dell'anno un volume sintetizzando i principali risultati. Vi ringrazio.